This is truly the best gaming monitor I've ever tried. The ROG PG27AQDP has 480Hz 27-inch 1440p with OLED panel. After using the 540Hz for a year and switching to this monitor for a month, it feels like a huge upgrade. Technically, there's a slight drop from 540Hz to 480Hz, but in my experience using it, I really cannot notice the difference. It feels as good and smooth as the 540Hz. However, if you're upgrading from 240Hz or below, you can definitely notice the jump right away. From 360Hz to 480Hz, it's not as significant of an upgrade, but you will still feel the difference, especially if you're a competitive gamer. The biggest difference I feel from using a 480Hz or 540Hz monitor is that I'm way more confident holding very tight angles. That doesn't mean that I always hit the shot 100%, but ever since I've been using 480Hz and 540Hz, there are times when I hit shots that surprised even myself, like, did I just hit that? Because I don't normally hit those shots. Now, I don't want to sound like this monitor is a pay to win. It is not, and I don't think that just having this monitor will make you rank up 1 or 2 ranks above your current rank. No matter how great a monitor is, it won't instantly make you a great player. It only helps you maximize your potential at your current skill level. Before, to get those competitive benefits, you had to settle with 1080p and TN panels. Now it's available on 1440p with an OLED panel, specifically WOLED, which is better than the last generation. Compared to TN and IPS panels, it's a night and day difference. 2K resolution gives a noticeable improvement in image clarity, and 27-inch has more screen real estate, which is very useful especially when you're editing. For competitive gaming, the size is still adequate. As long as you're not staring very closely at the monitor, it's quite easy to get used to 27 inches. If you feel it's too big, there is a crop mode that lets you play on 25 inches. I personally never use the crop mode. It's a nice feature to have, but in my opinion, 27 inches feels just fine. Being an OLED panel, the color is much better and vibrant, but not to the point of oversaturation. Great contrast, the dark gets very dark and the bright pops more. You can clearly see the difference here. The left monitor is an IPS panel and it looks so plain compared to the OLED. Having experienced HDR for the first time with this monitor, I'm just blown away by how good things look. Consuming content and playing high graphic games with HDR is a new experience I'm sure everyone will like. It enhances the viewing experience and makes it much more enjoyable. But since it's OLED, everyone should be aware of the pixel burn-in risk. I've been using this monitor for only 1 month, too early to notice signs of any burn-in pixel, and I always use the monitor with the OLED care feature just to be safe, so every 8 hours it will remind me to do the pixel cleaning to reduce the risk of burn-in. I've tried both glossy and matte coating, and personally I think neither one is better than the other. It's just a matter of preference and your room situation. While the glossy looks better when you're in a dark room not having to deal with reflections, it struggles to reduce glare and reflections if your room is bright and well lit. The matte coating works better reducing glare and reflections, so it's not as distracting when looking at the monitor. So in this case, it would be a good one if your room is quite bright or always dealing with sunshine. With a pixel response time of 0.03 milliseconds, it's impressive that they can push it that low. Not gonna lie, I don't notice any difference between this and other monitors with 1 or 2 milliseconds response time, cause at the end of the day, we are limited by our own human benchmark. The human average reaction time is around 250 milliseconds and 150 for the top 1% of gamers. So I don't think as humans we can notice that 0.03 milliseconds compared to 1 or 2 milliseconds response time. If you want more motion clarity, you can use the ELMB feature. However, you can only use it capped at 240Hz. It gives more motion clarity than the 480Hz, but I personally value the smoothness more than the extra motion clarity, especially in fast-paced shooter games where you are constantly tracking lots of fast-moving objects. At 265 nits, this monitor is not the brightest among the other monitors I've tried, but even then, I barely use the monitor at 100% brightness because it's just too bright for me. And I'm living in a brightly lit environment where the sun is always out every day, shining through my window. Never once have I had an issue with the monitor not being bright enough, but maybe if you need a monitor way brighter than 265 nits, it's something to take note of. I really like how the monitor looks. The physical design looks clean with a thin bezel, even thinner than my phone, which is crazy. The monitor stand is decent, but ideally I would recommend anyone to use a monitor arm because it's just way more convenient than any stand from the monitor itself. Just happened that I haven't bought one, so I have to use the original stand. It takes quite some space that even my mousepad cannot fit properly on the desk, which could be a problem for some of you who don't have a big desk. Other than that, adjusting the monitor with the stand still feels effortless, whether it's swivel, height, or tilt adjustment. Aside from the impressive specs, this monitor also has some AI features, one of them being AI Sniper. Basically, what this does is it will create a magnifying glass effect when your crosshair is on the enemy. The goal is to make you hit shots easier. I tried using it for a while this time, and I don't recommend using it in competitive FPS. It's not a cheating feature like some of you thought. It doesn't make your aim better and will distract you more rather than improve your accuracy consistently. There's also a challenge if you want to utilize this monitor fully, and that is having a good enough PC. For games like Valorant, CS, Overwatch, and Fortnite, sure you can achieve 480 FPS easily with a good enough CPU, but since it's a 2K OLED monitor, you would also want to enjoy some high graphic games, and don't expect to reach similar FPS in such heavy games. But at the same time, it means the monitor will be future-proof. With the upcoming RTX 5000 series, I don't even think they can push these AAA games to 480 FPS, which I guess it's a good thing if you choose to get the monitor, meaning in 3 to 5 years to come, you can still enjoy the best of the best experience PC hardware can achieve. I don't think there's any competitor to this monitor because of how versatile it is. There are not many options if you want to get a 480Hz or above monitor along with 2K resolution and OLED panel. The only competitors I could think of are the 32-inch dual-mode 4K monitors from ASUS and LG, which also offer 4K 240Hz and 1080p 480Hz. But those two monitors are way bigger, and in my opinion, 32 inches is too big if you play competitive shooters. Looking at the minimap requires you to move your head, and it's not a good thing in competitive shooters where you have to focus 99% of the time on the center of the monitor while still being able to get info from the minimap, bullet counts, etc. This monitor is best suited for anyone who plays competitive titles and wants the best option available without compromise. So far, the ROG PG27AQDP has given me the most enjoyable gaming experience. And not gonna lie, if ASUS didn't send me this monitor, I already thought about buying it myself because of how much I really like the monitor based on my first impression and looking at the specs. But to my surprise, they gave me one and I'm very happy about it. And as you can expect with this monitor, the price is not cheap at all. Priced at $1,000, quite an expensive price just for a monitor. I recommend getting this monitor only if you already have a decent enough PC to enjoy this monitor fully, because if not, it would be just a waste of money. But at $1,000, if you compare it to the ASUS 540Hz monitor priced at $800 or even the BenQ 540Hz at $1,000, it really doesn't make sense to recommend the 540Hz over the PG27AQDP. Literally, there is no reason at all to go with 540Hz at the current price. With 100% confidence, I can say the $200 difference is worth every penny. You're not only getting the same high refresh rate performance, but also the crisp 1440p resolution and the enjoyment of using an OLED monitor. Not to mention that in 3 to 5 years, this monitor would probably still be relevant.